Aside from sewing, I can also pass for a dancer. Let's make this kimono gown with gather at the down part and ashoke at the center and sleeve. If you are loving the effect of this gown, grab your seat and take your popcorn and let's get straight into it. If today is your first time of coming across my channel, you're welcome. My name is Fosida, and on this channel we post more of sewing tutorials every Wednesdays and Fridays. So let's dive into it. This is the material I will be working with. Three yards of Ankara. If you are on a plus size, you can use 3.5 with ashoke fabric. I've gone ahead to fold our fabric using our across the shoulder measurement. We will now start marking out our starting line. Always indicate your starting line. Don't use that English mat because sometimes it's not always straight. So after marking out our straight starting line, from that our starting line, I'm going to come down by 1 inch to get my shoulder slope. Remember, it's a cut to get that sleeve kimono. So I folded my fabric using my across shoulder like I said earlier. So my across shoulder is 30 divided by 2, which gave me 15. So after getting my shoulder slope, what I'm going to mark now is my 15 plus 1 inch, which is 16. Remember, I'm also going to put it as shoke. So from my shoulder slope, I came down by 10 inches for my sleeve opening. I'm going to add my bust measurement on that 10 inches we came down from. So from the center front, I'm going to mark my bust divided by 4 measurement plus 2 inch is allowance. Remember, is a kimono and kimonos are always free. I'm going to add 2 inches is allowance. Is allowance is different from sewing allowance. After adding my bust divided by 4 plus 2 inch is allowance, we are going to go ahead and start adding our shoulder to our waist measurement. Remember, is allowance is not sewing allowance. Is allowance is to give that cloth freeness. It's not fitted cloth. So from my shoulder, I'm going to add my shoulder to my waistline, and my shoulder to my gown length are also hip length. So how do you get your gown length? Your gown length is 39 minus the gather length. My gather length, I want it to be 8 inches. So 39 minus 8, I will be left with 31 plus 1 inch sewing allowance. I will be left with 32. So from my shoulder, I'm going to impute 32 before we now add that 8 inches that will complete our gown length as a gather. So this is how you get your gown length. And after calculating, I'm going to keep the book aside. We will continue with the markings. Remember, from your shoulder to the down part of your body is known as your vertical line, while the circumference of all your bodies are known as horizontal line. So after marking my gown length, from my waist, I came down by 9 inch for my hip line. And I'm going to mark it into several places in order to get a straight line. So after getting a straight line, we proceed in adding all our horizontal measurement. So on my waist, I divided my waist divided by 4 plus 2 inch is allowance. I join it to the bust, and on the hip as well, I'm going to add my hip divided by 4 plus 2 inch is allowance. I'm also going to join it to the waist using my curve ruler like so. And on the hem part, I did the same thing, but I minus 2 inches from the hem part. It was looking as if the gown was long because from the original one we want to replicate is looking short and my own is looking longer. So I went ahead to minus 2 inches from the actual length, which I later minus only 1 because I also want to use it and go to the church. So I don't want it to be short. So I'm adding my sewing allowance of 1 inches on the bust, on the waist, and on the hip as well. You can see. So this is the sewing allowance. The first allowance we added is to give the cloth freeness. And on the neck, I came down by 1 inch for my neck depth, and I connect it to my neck width, and we are done with the cutting of this cloth. So I'm basically going to go ahead and cut it out. Remember, on your shoulder slope, remember to give it ½ inch sewing allowance. I will cut it out and also use this particular pattern to cut the another pattern, exact pattern. You can see I cut out only 1 inch. I'm going to use it and place on another folded fabric and cut it, and we will have 2 of it. One will serve for the front while the other one will serve for the back. You see, it's very simple. I went ahead to fold my fabric. I'm trying to place my other fabric on top, so that I will go ahead and cut it out, and we will now proceed in adding the ashoke at the center. And after getting the perfect thing you want, you can go ahead and cut it. Remember to place it very well so that one will not be bigger than the other. This is the ashoke we will be working with. I want the ashoke to be 2 inches by the left and 2 inches by the right, and we are going to go ahead and remove one, and one will serve for the back, while the front we are going to minus what our ashoke will be. Like the inches we want our ashoke to be, we are going to minus it from the center front of our kimono gown. I'm going to minus it, and this is it. I'm going to minus 1.5 from the center front, because we'll be using 1/2 inch to sew in the ashoke. Remember I said the ashoke will be 2 inches on the left and 2 inches on the right. You don't need to remove all the 2 inches from the fabric, because you will not have any allowances to sew the ashoke to your fabric. So you need the 1/2 inch to sew the ashoke to your fabric. I'm going to trace this thing now all the way to our neck width, like so. This is how you're going to trace it. So we are going to go ahead and cut from our shoulder all the way to our gown length. I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. We won't be needing this line again, and we are going to go ahead and cut it because we won't be needing it again. We will be replacing it with our ashoke. After cutting it, this is what you are going to have. When I open it up, you see that it's 3 inches, but when we replace it with ashoke, we are going to be replacing it with 4 inches with ashoke. 2 inches by the right, 2 inches by the left side. And I'm going to now keep it aside, and when we start working on the ashoke, I'm going to fold this ashoke into 2 and now mark out 2.5, because we also add 1/2 inch sewing allowance on the ashoke, so that after sewing it we'll be left with 2 inches. I'm going to now keep this thing aside and start joining it by the side. This is the back. I'm going to place the front side of the back and also the front side of the front facing each other. I'm going to join it by the shoulder and by the side by 1
the
inch.
Shoulder is 1/2 inch while the side is 1 inch. I'm going to do it on the tutu side, and I'm going to head over to my sewing machine now to go and run a stitch on the side and also on the shoulder. So we'll be adding our ashoke on the center. So this is it. I've gone ahead to run a stitch by this side, and this is it.
To get the length of ashoke we'll be working with, I'm going to measure from one hem of our center to the other hem of our center in order to get the ashoke length we'll be working with. So from this one hem, I'm going to measure it all round to the shoulder and to the back neck line, like so. You see what I'm doing? This is how you're going to get the length of the ashoke you'll be working with. When I stop at that 60, I now indicate it with my hand, and now bringing my tape to complete the length of that center. And what I got was 70, and I went ahead to add extra 2 inches on the length of the ashoke, so that we'll be on the safer side. Let it not be after marking that exact 70 and it did not reach. After getting the 60 inches length, I went ahead to indicate it with my hand and now complete it. I can see it's 12 inches. For us to be on the safer side, I added extra 2 inches allowance. And what we are going to do now is to go ahead and now cut out the 2.5 inches that I said earlier, and the remaining part we won't be needing it. I'm going to show you 2 ways on how to cut your ashoke and also make the edges to be tight, like to be like how you bought it from the market. We are going to use this method. You put your scissors on top of your gas. After your scissors must has been hot, you now go ahead and cut it, or you cut with your normal scissors. After cutting with your normal scissors, you now use your lighter, like so. Don't use candle. Candle will give it dirtiness. Use your lighter to hem that part, or you use your gas light. We are going to find the midpoint of our back neckline so that we get that opening. So from the shoulder, I came down by 9 inches. This is where my V opening will be. I'm also going to find the midpoint of my back, because we are going to measure from that midpoint to that 9 inches that we came down from that midpoint. You see I measured around all the way to that 9 inches. That will serve as our opening, and it was 13. We are going to keep the kimono gown aside and start working on the ashoke. I have gone ahead to fold ashoke into 2 equal halves. That's 72. You are going to fold it into 2 equal halves, and this is the midpoint. We are going to, from that midpoint, come down by 13 like we measured from our cloth. I'm going to go ahead and rule it across to get a straight line, and I will start finding the midpoint of the remaining ashoke, and make sure that they are matching each other very well. And this is it. I'm going to now start finding the midpoint of the remaining ashoke and keep on marking it in order to get a straight line. After marking it into several places, I'm going to use my ruler to join them together, because we are going to run a stitch on that midpoint. I'm going to go ahead and join it together with my pattern curve. We are also heading over to our sewing machine to go and run a stitch from that 13 all the way to the down part. On that folded part, I'm going to notch the 2 sides. I'm going to notch both the right and the left, and that place will serve as our center. I will go over to my machine and run a stitch. So I've gone ahead to run a stitch, and this is how you open it up. Watch very closely and see how I folded it into 2. I'm going to repeat what I did there so that you will know what I did. I'm going to repeat it. This is how it come, and you open this one, raise this other one, and join them together, and now press it and to get the midpoint, while the other one will naturally fall in place. And this is it. And for the upper part, the 2 places we notch, we are going to join them together like so, and now arrange the remaining part. And this is it for the center neck. This is how you get the center neck. The opening part will serve as our V neck opening, and we are going to go ahead and join it on our kimono gown. I'm going to show you how to join it as well, and also watch closely because it's looking a bit tactic. And from the center of the back, like we notched it earlier, what I'm going to do now is to bring in the ashoke from the place we notch as well on the ashoke. I'm going to place it the right side facing each other. If you want, you can also use your pin to pin it down. I am going to keep on placing it until you get to the down part, and you will see how I flip the other side. You can use your pin and place it until you get to the down part. It will be more easier for you. You keep pinning it until you get to the down part. Or if you can sew without pinning, this is exactly how you are going to sew it. Let me repeat what I did. You are going to place the center of that ashoke, the place we notch, to the center of the back, also the place we notch together, and use your pin and pin it down. Use your pin and pin it down. Once you pin it down, you are going to flip this other one like so. Flip it like so. Once you flip it, it will give you room to arrange the remaining ashoke all the way to the hem part of our gown. And I'm going to go ahead and sew it. I've gone ahead to sew it. The remaining one, what I used to do is simply turn everything at the wrong side of our cloth. Once you turn it at the wrong side, it will be more easy for you to sew. So what I'm going to do now, basically turn every cloth, all the clothes, both the sleeve, the side, everything at the wrong side, so that it will be easy for me to sew. I turned everything at the wrong side, and this is it. Once you turn it at the wrong side, it will now fall naturally for you to sew. I also go ahead and sew it on my sewing machine. So this is how you sew it. It's so simple. Just turn the remaining one, turn the back, and it will be easy for you to sew. So you can see I can now sew from the center all the way to the hem part of our cloth. So I've gone ahead to sew it, and this is the outcome. Is this thing not looking beautiful? And we are also going to add ashoke on the sleeve like I said earlier. So what I'm going to do is basically fold my ashoke into 2 and now sew it around the sleeve opening, and I'm going to do it on the 2 side of the sleeve. I'm going to go over to my sewing machine and go and sew it. Before we will now start working on the down part, our gown is looking so pretty. I've gone ahead to sew the ashoke on the sleeve. Is this thing not looking beautiful? For the down part, the length of the quantity of the gown that we need will determine the fabric you bought.
And for the width is 8 inches plus 1 inches, which is 9 inches, which will complete our gown length. While for the length, I went ahead to cut the pieces of my remaining fabric, and it gave me a long length of fabric, which is up to 5 to 6 inches. And I also joined them, like I said, I joined them into two. Also remember to remove your pocket and band or fabric before you join all your fabric together, and forgetting your pocket and band fabric, because it's what I did. Is when I wanted to sew it that I realized I did not remove my pocket and band fabric, so I went ahead to remove one piece of the long stripe of fabric. And this is how you are going to gather it. You open up one side and you start gathering. Gather evenly. You can start from the front part so that when you gather all, it will be looking so fine. So this is it. I've gone ahead to gather it, and you can see how pretty and full the down part is looking. And I also went ahead to hem the down part a little. Remember, it's only ½ inch we added for the hemming part, so I hem it a little. You can see how neat everything is looking. So this is how yours should be, and this is for the band that will snatch our waist. This is how I cut it out. I'm going to go ahead and fold it and sew it as our normal band, and now turn it and put it on our waist. And from our shoulder, I'm going to mark out our waist. This is where the band will be. I'm going to indicate our waist. From the shoulder on the other side as well, I'm going to come down by 17 inches, which is my waist. This is where the band will be, in order for it to snatch our waist. And I'm also going to input my shoulder to where my pocket will start, which is 19 inches. From my shoulder to 19 inches, and from that 19 inches to 7 inches, this is where my pocket will also be. I will also do the same thing to the other side. What I did to this side is also what I'm basically going to do to the other side, both the band and the pocket. So after indicating the band and the pocket, I'm going to go and put my band. While sewing the band should be inside. I've gone ahead to add the band. This is it. While the pocket will be outside, we are going to go ahead and now cut our pocket. I cut 9 by 9, which is the length is 9, while the width is also 9. Folded on a folded form, I cut 9 by 9, and I'm going to go ahead and cut it. This one is for the one part of the pocket, and I'm also going to cut the same thing I cut on this one to this other side, making it 2 pockets. After cutting, we are going to now start joining it on our beautiful kimono gown. And this is how we are going to join it. We are going to join it on the allowances that we have sewn and the place we marked. I'm going to join the right side of one of the side of the pocket, facing one of the allowance like this, and the other side facing the other allowance. And you are going to sew it very close, not just tip, very close to the allowance, so that your clothes will not add extra inches. And after sewing it, you are going to now notch very tight on the place that you want to sew through the pocket. Like you can see, zoom it very well. I notch it very well, and now sew it across the pocket. I notch the other side very well, sew it across the pocket, and now bring it down to the length of our gown. And our gown is basically ready. If you have watched to this part, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and also press the notification bell so that you'll be the first to be notified anytime we upload our video. You can see that our gown came out so nice. Thanks for watching. Watch out for our next tutorial.